Tonight, are you ready for some road construction? Details on a major upcoming Electric City project. Plus,
no Voyagers baseball at Centene Stadium this year, but that won't stop them from celebrating the 4th of July. Socially distanced, of course.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News from Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for making MTN your choice for news on this 4th of July weekend. I'm Tim McGonigal. It's been another unsettling milestone for Montana coronavirus cases. Today, the active cases reached 400 for the first time. This past week saw the largest spike in cases since the virus was first found in Montana in March. Since Sunday, the state has seen 280 new cases and broke the daily new case record on 2 different days. Currently, 17 people are hospitalized. 23 people have died from the virus. About 2/3 of the total cases in the state are considered recovered. Law enforcement captured an inmate early this morning who had escaped from the Montana State Prison over a month ago. Preston Scott Tucker was arrested about 12:30 a.m. in a residence in Powell County, about 7 miles from the prison. He escaped on the morning of May 30th, according to Powell County Undersheriff Kim Meekue. About 17 officials from the Powell County Sheriff's Office and the Montana State Prison Special Response Team raided the home and captured Tucker without incident. The undersheriff said investigators were acting on a tip from a neighbor who noticed someone on the property who did not belong there. The home where Tucker was found is owned by someone who has not been at the residence for the past 5 years. Tucker was the only one there at the time of his arrest. Tucker's been returned to the prison, and more charges are expected to be filed against him. Well, transportation workers are about to undertake a major road construction project in the Great Falls area. MTN's Caitlin Boycell has more on the Fox Farm Ulm project and how it could affect your commute.
Take a look at these clear roadways. As you can see, this will probably be one of the last times that you see congestion-free traffic until September.
Starting Monday, MDT will begin resurfacing a section of I-15 from Ulm North to the Emerson Junction interchange. Drivers on this stretch of road can expect 1 lane in each direction and reduce speeds. Work on the main road will take place between 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and this portion of the project is only expected to take a few weeks. The Fox Farm Ulm project is also resurfacing I-315 between I-15 and Fox Farm Road. All 8 of the I-315 ramps are also being resurfaced. Ramps will be closed between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., so work can be done overnight. Work will be done on just 2 ramps at a time to limit disruption.
Prepare for 1-lane traffic and longer commute times, all starting July 6 going through September. Reporting in Great Falls, Caitlin Boycell, MTN News.
MDT does encourage residents and businesses to sign up for weekly projects updates. You can check out our website for more details on how to sign up for those. In campaign news, it looks like Montana's high-profile U.S. Senate race will have another candidate soon, increasing the total on the November ballot to 4. The Montana Libertarian Party says it plans to name a replacement candidate for Susan Good-Giese, the Libertarian who withdrew last month. Libertarian Party Chairman Sid Dowd of Kalispell says he'll be sending out a notice soon for the party Central Committee to meet and select a new candidate. He says he couldn't do that until the primary election results were certified by the state, which just happened recently. Montana's closely watched U.S. Senate race already has 3 candidates running: incumbent Republican Steve Daines, Democratic Governor Steve Bullock, and Green Party candidate Wendy Frederickson. Giese is a Lewis and Clark County Commissioner from Augusta. She withdrew in May, saying her duties as commissioner during the COVID-19 pandemic wouldn't leave her with any time to campaign. Libertarians have never come close to winning a U.S. Senate race in Montana, but they can be a factor in a close race if they pull votes away from another candidate. A federal judge has halted parts of a major U.S. Forest Service fuel reduction project outside of Helena in a lawsuit filed by conservation and environmental groups. Judge Dana Christensen made the ruling this week in a case involving the 10-mile South Helena project. Christensen blocked the Forest Service from logging with mechanized equipment in a roadless area between Unionville and Remini. He ruled that the agency hadn't given a full representation of the road development that would be needed. The judge also stopped work on recreational trails in the area, ruling the Forest Service hadn't done enough to determine how the work would affect grizzly bears. However, he allowed the rest of the project to move forward, pointing to its time-sensitive nature. Leaders have identified the 10-mile South Helena project as important for reducing wildfire risk and protecting the city's water supply. Well, there might not be any Voyagers baseball at Centene Stadium this year, but there will be a 4th of July celebration. MTN's Matt Holzaffel shows us what a socially distanced fireworks night will look like.
Now, when you first arrive at Centene Stadium on the 4th, there's a couple things you're going to have to do. First of all, providing your name and number, stuff like that to officials, just in case someone in the crowd is sick, so they can contact trace you and let you know so you can stay healthy. Second of all, if you forgot your mask at home, well, don't worry. They'll have some for you. Lastly, mandatory hand washing before you can head up the stairs and find your seat. On a typical July 4th at Centene Stadium, you'd probably expect to see the stands packed full of fans here to watch the Voyagers play a home game. But this year it's going to be a little different. There will be social distancing between families, and only about 10% of the stadium's capacity will be filled.
So we can only have about 300 or 400 people inside the ballpark. Rather than having lines for each register, you've got one entrance, one exit for all concession stands, markings on the ground for staying apart, all that sort of fun stuff.
Hand washing stations and social distancing markings are just a few of the ways the staff is working to keep everyone safe.
Our staff will be smiling at you. You won't be able to tell because they'll have masks on.
Masks, not required, but recommended, among other things that are different than last 4th of July.
It's going to be about 2,750 less people. But other than that, there'll be no baseball, but we're just really excited to be able to provide fireworks for Great Falls.
Now, there will be food and drink available, as well as activities like cornhole. Scott tells me all of those stations will be sanitized regularly by Great Falls Voyagers staff, wearing, of course, the Great Falls Voyagers masks. In Great Falls, Matt Holzaffel, MTN News.
And if you purchase tickets for this summer's events ahead of time at gfvoyagers.com, you can save when you get to the stadium because the staff will already have your information. Meanwhile, ongoing concerns about the coronavirus have also had big impacts on Helena area 4th of July festivities. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian looks at what will be different about this year's celebrations.
Despite challenges, organizers of the Helena area's largest 4th of July fireworks celebration say it is still ready to go Saturday night.
Thanks to so many supporters, it's gone a lot better than we thought it was going to.
The Prickly Pear Community Fireworks Celebration fires off each summer from the top of the East Helena slag pile. Shelley's Country Cafe organizes the event. This year, COVID-19 restrictions delayed their fundraising by about 2 months. But they say thanks to sponsors like Town Pump, they won't have to scale back the show.
But it's actually going to be about generally what we normally do in the last several years. So we're pretty happy for that. We're proud of that.
East Helena leaders are asking anyone watching the show to maintain distance, especially in city parks. They've put up signs to drive home the point.
Come early, spread yourself out, keep those physical distances at 6 feet, wear a mask. Enjoy the day, be safe.
For the last 5 years, the 4th of July in Helena has been marked by a community celebration in Centennial Park, centered around the raising of the Old Glory landmark flag. This year, the flag raising will still be happening, but organizers are asking the public to stay away.
It's just not right to have a big crowd of people. We respect, what we're trying to do in this very difficult time, but we'll be here in 2021, so see you next July.
There's one other factor adding some uncertainty to this year's festivities: the possibility of storms Saturday night. Prickly Pear organizers say they're remaining hopeful the fireworks can go on at the scheduled time.
Let's keep our fingers crossed because we do need the one thing this year that we can all enjoy and have fun. So Mother Nature just needs to work with us just for about 40 minutes.
In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
A parade and fireworks display are also set for tomorrow in Lincoln. Boulder will also have a fireworks show. Townsend's 4th of July celebrations have been canceled. Well, speaking of the weather, everyone's keeping an eye to the sky, hoping for some cooperation from Mother Nature for the 4th. That includes Elizabeth Copeland. She joins us now with our first forecast.
Hey everyone, welcome back on this Friday evening. A lot of you had the day off, enjoying the sunshine early this morning, but now we're going to be tracking some big changes to the forecast as some storms start to roll in. So right now, across central and northeast Montana, severe storms popping up, especially some stronger ones as well. Just the north, or actually southwest of Lewistown, so just west of Roy, a severe storm moving up toward our area, close to Highway 2 here in the next few hours. So watching some of those stronger storms develop, especially as we have a lot of extra moisture and this heat. So both of those ingredients to help fuel some of those stronger storms this afternoon and evening. Right now, it's holding steady in the 70s and upper 80s through the northeast corner of the state. That's the area we're going to concentrate on tonight for those stronger to severe storms. Now, we have another round of storms right back in the forecast Saturday. We're still topping out at 81 for our 4th of July, but we're going to track more on when those storms arrive for tomorrow afternoon and what you need to do for those outdoor plans coming up here in our extended forecast.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The owners of Great Falls Wine Store know their stuff. We'll meet the new proprietors of this longtime business when the news continues.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's news leader.
Welcome back. Just this May, fine wine and beer store Vintage Cellars made a bittersweet farewell to Great Falls, but thanks to the purchase of another wine store owner, Vintage Cellars will have many more years to age. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt gives us a taste of what's to come for this well-known store.
When Vintage Cellars announced they were closing for good, wine store owner Tara Strunk decided it was time to try something new.
My dad and I do own Fifth and Wine as well, and we decided that getting into a business over on this side of town would be great.
3 weeks ago, they became the new Vintage Cellars in town, while keeping many traditions of former store owner Gene Betts alive.
The customers can expect it to be pretty much the same. There's not going to be a lot of changes.
While Vintage Cellars is under new ownership, you can still find their signature spirit in store.
Gene is kind of the personality of this business, and he has some longtime staff members that they've kind of built this business, and they know a lot of their customers and what they like to drink and what they're looking for and stuff. We're using all his inventory lists and stuff like that, so we'll be ordering a lot of the same things that people already love.
In addition to preserving Gene's wine club and store setup, they will also add their own notes of flavor, like wine expertise, a brand new beer club, and a commitment to get better with age. In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
We're going to be looking at some of those stronger severe storms tonight and another round in store for central and northeast Montana tomorrow night. We'll have what you need to know for your 4th of July plans.
Thanks. Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with Elizabeth Copeland.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here in my living room once again this evening, where I'll be forecasting for you in central and northeast Montana, filling in for the night. So let's go ahead and dive down into it. We're going to track a lot more of those stronger to severe storms these next 2 nights, really popping up like they did this afternoon and they'll last through this evening. So right now, we're still seeing some severe storms in the southeast corner of the state, some stronger storms still popping up just around White Sulphur Springs now, and then a severe storm we're still tracking that is just moving to the east of Winifred, up parts of 191, heading toward Highway 2 here in just an hour or so. So between Havre and Malta, definitely keep an eye out as that strong storm continues to push off to the northeast. And this is not the only severe or stronger storm that we'll see tonight as those continue, and we'll track those out for you in just a minute here. But as those storms move out, we are going to look at a lot more of the clear skies. Very similar forecast for Saturday, with those clear skies being in the forecast early in the morning. It will hold steady in the 70s, 80s, warming up rapidly through the afternoon. And then more storms develop for our 4th of July afternoon and evening. So tomorrow's highs, just like today, very warm, especially across that northeast corner. We're in the mid 70s, upper 70s for west central Montana. Heading over to central Montana, we're in the 80s, and then closing in on the 90s for the north and east. So when you get that heat and that extra moisture, that's what helps fuel those afternoon storms, especially around 3:30, 4:30, even 5 this time of year when those highs are at their warmest. So for tonight, backing up slightly here, a few of those isolated stronger cells are going to still move out for the northeast corner. That's right around Glasgow, Opine, Plentywood. Those are going to continue pushing out right around 10 or so, leaving behind some showers even for Jordan and Glendive. So if you are traveling tonight to the northeast corner, do keep in mind you're probably going to hit some stronger to severe storms. Now, Saturday morning, we're waking up just like we did today to not too many clouds out there, not a lot of activity, but as the day goes on, we add in that heat. By about 2:30, we start to see some of those isolated cells pop up. Some of those are definitely going to include some small hail and frequent lightning. Throughout the day, those build. We're going to start to see even heavier showers. Some isolated flooding in urban areas is a possibility with stronger to severe storms. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, we're really going to keep an eye on the radar all the way from Butte up to Great Falls over to Glasgow because of those stronger cells that will develop. So today, the slight risk really exists for northeast Montana, marginal risk from Bozeman, and really closer to that central eastern side of the state. Now, tomorrow for those afternoon plans, more of that slight risk is going to kind of jet out closer to Billings, marginal risk just south of Great Falls. That does include Helena as well, right where those isolated storms I just showed you kind of pop up right around 4 or 5 p.m. So again, tomorrow afternoon, just like today, stronger severe storms possible, hail, wind, and lightning, all those areas in dark green and yellow. So definitely keep an eye on the radar, especially if you're heading out to Holter Lake, where we are in a marginal risk in that Helena area for some isolated strong to severe storms tomorrow evening. But when the storms aren't around, it's actually going to be really nice. We're going to be up in the 80s, isolated evening storms, a possibility, not too much chop. 83 tomorrow in Great Falls with those storms popping up a little later in the afternoon. 70s for Sunday and Monday. And then for the rest of the week, we actually just keep in those summer-like storms. So stronger storms Saturday evening, especially into Saturday night, keeping an eye on the radar there. Definitely a possibility to keep informed for those stronger to severe storms, keeping it sunny and spotty showers here and there through the rest of next week.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Well, coming up, fears of COVID canceling the fall sports season won't stop one cross-country team from hitting the ground running.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 5:30 news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. A player for the Tri-County Cardinals American Legion baseball team has tested positive for COVID-19, according to the team's Facebook page. The player tested positive July 1st, and that test awaits confirmation from the state. All other team members have been subsequently tested at their local hospitals and are under 14-day quarantines while awaiting results. According to the Facebook post, the player was exposed at a non-baseball event, and no games or travel have occurred since the exposure. All baseball activities for the team have been paused. Tri-County head coach Bjorn Swanson told MTN Sports it's the first player in the Northern A district to test positive.
We get to work with 3 county health departments and come up with plans and do the best to limit any exposure that we do have. And fortunately, we caught this very early and were able to limit it before any games were had or any other fans had been at the facility. Our biggest thing is being transparent about it. Go through all the protocol and you know, that's how we got to have a season. That's how we're going to continue to have a season.
Swanson said he's now working with the other coaches in the league to reschedule Tri-County's remaining conference games. Well, with the suspension and eventual cancellation of the high school spring sports season, many are still left to wonder if there will be a fall sports season. But until then, the Helena High cross-country team is still preparing. MTN's Sam Hoyle has more.
At 7 a.m. on the Friday before the 4th of July weekend, the Bengals cross-country team was working, preparing for a season that may never come. A conundrum for first-year head coach Jesse Zentz.
I think they're aware of that. I mean, most of these kids were track athletes, so they've had their hearts broken once, and so you know it's a matter of balancing that hope. They're hopeful that we are able to do something. I think for them it's just being with each other and getting out here and working hard for each other and having that culture develop of that commitment that they show up for each other every day. I think that's what's carrying their hope right now, and we just try to be as positive as possible.
In spite of that uncertainty, the Bengals continue to grind, looking to use the summer months to get better, and as Maddie Mergel, a senior at Helena High, said, make up for lost time due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I think it makes a huge difference, especially being on lockdown, just getting out and seeing people and new faces. It makes a difference, and it really I think it really improves your athletic ability because you're more encouraged when you're around your teammates.
Above all, there is optimism stowed away in high school athletes here and across the country that they'll be able to toe the starting line or set foot on the court or the field this fall. But if not soon, maybe this spring.
I think about it quite a bit. I'm pretty bummed out thinking about it. It is a big bummer, but it is what it is. We'll move on, and if it is taken away this year, hopefully we'll get a track season.
Reporting in Helena, Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
For our 7-day forecast tomorrow, just like tonight, same setup with sunny skies early, and those strong to severe storms are going to pop up on Saturday afternoon and evening, keeping it in the 80s tomorrow, a very warm day, and then 70s and 80s for next week. So we'll be keeping an eye on the radar, especially Saturday night with those stronger to severe storms possible, and they'll hold in the 80s through next week.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Finally, the Washington Redskins are reviewing their team name after a push from sponsors and fans. FedEx, which is a title sponsor for the team's stadium, asked the team to change its name. FedEx itself was pressured by stakeholders to cut ties with the team due to its controversial name. On Thursday, Nike removed all gear with the team's branding from its site. The team says the review of the name is being conducted with the best interest of all in mind. Big question will be, what will the new team name be, should they do change that name? All right, well, that's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.